up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the KO Breakdown. I'm your host, the fight analyst, Garrett Kerman. With me, as always, is my man, Joe Danger himself, Jesse Hobson. What's up, man? How's it going?
That intro, music to my ears. It's been so long. I'm happy to be back. Happy to see your smiling face, Garrett, the fight analyst. It's just one of those days, man. It's been a busy week at work, and I'm excited and I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to talk about. And I guess, for lack of better words, I wouldn't exactly call what I do breaking down fights, but we can joke amongst each other and say what I do is breaking them down. But that's what Garrett's for. Go ahead, my friend.
What's up? Bro, we're back. We're finally back with what, 3-4 weeks hiatus. It fucking sucked without any fights. Sucked that we had no fights to really bet on. That we were actually live. Actually, we were able to bet on Ryzen FC taking on Bellator, but that was on a tape delay, so we already knew who fucking won before we even watched it. For some bullshit. But we got some live fights this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. We have a brand new main event. Nassourdine Imavov taking on Sean Strickland at a catchweight of 205 pounds, going for 5 rounds. That means Sean Strickland is one of, I think, only Tito Ortiz is the only one that has gone back-to-back main events in UFC history. Like back-to-back main events.
Pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think I maybe in the early days of UFC, like, was Gracie in both main events?
And back-to-back events? I don't think so. We're talking about like back-to-back. Like, Sean Strickland fought and then he fought again.
Well, either way, even if Gracie did do it, you got to admit my boy Strickland has some huevos. So I'm very excited. Hopefully he gets back on track. Spoiler alert, I'm not betting on him, but I would love to see him win. I'd be willing to lose in hopes that he wins, because I have a place for him in my heart. So that's for you, my heterosexual friend.
Well, I mean, the man's fucking crazy in the way he just speaks out there, but Forrest Daniels, what's up, man? 2023, baby. New money to be made, new year, clean slate. We're gonna get it done this weekend. I'm telling you guys. It's a lot of juice.
Yeah,
a lot of juice to navigate this weekend. A shit ton of juice. So it's gonna be a tough one, but I feel like we're getting a lot of easy matchups across the board here. Honestly, surprisingly, I'm seeing some money come in on some big underdogs, and rightfully so, because you're not just gonna keep betting on these favorites in these parlays. Yeah. So, money's got to have to come in on some of these dogs, but I'm surprised a little bit of money is coming in against one of these favorites. But we'll talk about that in a moment.
One thing I did want to mention, and we talked about this off the air, is we are going to do our best, or when I say we, I'm talking about the fight analyst, is going to kind of keep track of our wins and losses. And then I guess between the two of us, we'll come up with some sort of award or reward, should I say. So I will be either gifting Garrett something or Garrett gifting me something, who knows. But at the end of the day, it'll be a friendly, fun way, and you guys can play along at home too. So Forrest Daniels, I know that you're in, and we'll keep you guys in the loop.
Absolutely, bro. I'm looking forward to it. By the year's end, we'll see who is the king of the KO breakdown.
I like it. I like it.
We will see.
That's what we need to do. It can be like a crown, and then
I like it. Yeah. We'll get like a belt made or some shit. I don't know. Yeah. We'll figure it out. But yeah, man, I'm stoked. So let's get right down into the breakdown. All right. So our first fight up is on the prelims in the women's flyweight division between Priscilla Cachoeira, Zombie Girl Cachoeira, and Sajara Sarge Eubanks. Right now, Eubanks at minus 240 favorite, and the comeback on Cachoeira plus 200. Who do you got?
Yeah, I understand why Eubanks is the favorite. She's faced the better competition, but as of late, she's looked extremely slow and sluggish. And not to mention any social media posts, she just looks a little bit heavier or a little bit meteor, I guess I should say, in a friendly way. But Priscilla is the exact opposite of that. As her career goes on, it seems she gets faster. She also seems to get better, stronger. Her punches seem to pack a little bit better of a punch. I don't think that killer instinct will stop on Saturday. I expect Eubanks to slow down in later rounds, the weight to kind of take its toll, and I expect Priscilla to take over at that point. I don't think a knockout is out of the question either. So I'd like to take Priscilla by KO. I mean, you can get her at plus 200 straight up, but I think the KO or even inside the distance is worth a look.
Yeah, you might as well bet the KO then, because chances of her, subbing a jiu-jitsu black belt like Eubanks is fairly slim.
Yeah.
For him to win by KO is anywhere from plus 300 all the way up to plus 410, depending on your book. But I'm in the same notion here, and we could, on paper we're like, damn, this feels like not an easy dog, but like an easy play to make at plus 200, to the point where she might just go in there, get taken down, and submit it. It's just like one of those fights where it's like, I mean, I guess I have to take her at plus 200, which I am. I'm definitely going to have to play her at plus 200 because Eubanks has looked trash. Her last win was against a strawweight that took the fight on short notice, up a weight class. Like, it's a girl that used to be at 135 and always loses on the scales at 125. And I don't even expect her to make 125 pounds, honestly. Yeah. Like, I've seen those same social media posts as you saw. It was just a month ago in December where she was completely bloated.
Yeah.
So I'll be surprised if she looks in phenomenal shape and tip-top shape. Meanwhile, Cachoeira she is absolutely shredded to the gills. Like, just ridiculous. And now she's training down here at MMA Masters. So, she's getting a ton of wrestling looks, because that's, main base out of there is their wrestling and their low kicks. So I think she's getting a ton of good looks over here, and we'll see. On paper, she's definitely the far better striker. She's got the better cardio of the two. She's got the better chin of the two. She's more aggressive. She throws more volume, but it comes down to her takedown defense. If she doesn't stop a takedown, could be over in the first round.
Yeah,
I would not be surprised. But if she gets it out of the first round and makes Eubanks work in that first round, I think she could take over, because we know Eubanks is guaranteed to slow down after round one. So give me Cachoeira here plus 200. I think it's a no-brainer type of play at that price. Win or lose.
And I want to give you kind of a little insight as to why that I think inside the distance might be smart, is because it's women's MMA. I've seen stranger things happen. I'm not saying that she will sub her, but if Eubanks gets tired enough and she does take her to the ground, it wouldn't be out of the question for Priscilla to find the neck or just find her in a weird position and get the tap. Now, do I think it will happen? It probably won't, but it's women's MMA. It's two unpredictable fighters. I would rather cash than not cash. Maybe even do half and half inside the distance and half KO, or triple it up with a money line. I think it's a good play to make if you're looking for a prop.
Yeah, I think so too. You can even look towards maybe even taking Cachoeira in round 2 or round 3.
I like that too.
Cachoeira round 2 plus 900. Cachoeira round 3 plus 1,400.
That's stupid. I like that better.
I think those are the better props, because the chance of her getting the round 1 finish, I mean, could have happened. Obviously, she's done it. I just don't think it's very likely she gets it done.
Yeah.
I think if it happens, it's normally in rounds 2 or 3, and you're getting 9-1 or almost 14-1 odds. I mean, shit.
Well, we obviously we're kind of writing off Eubanks a little bit here, but
right.
She is tough. Like she was one of my favorite fighters in her season of tough, but it's been a while since that season. and there's been a lot of donuts since that season, and it's just those add up. You asked me about it, but it, I can't fathom her being able to keep up that same pace that she does come into the fight with, and I know you hinted at that as well.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, we've talked about this one way too much.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's just the opening fight, so let's keep it moving. All right, our next fight up is in the men's flyweight division between Charles Johnson and the return of the brick, Jimmy Flick. Right now, Johnson a minus 345 favorite to come back on Flick plus 285. What do you got?
Yeah, the people's main event, is here.
Yeah.
I actually have plans Saturday night, but they don't start until this fight is over. So all of Johnson's losses come by decision, but I think Flick finds the submission. Johnson is no stranger to the ground. He likes to go there when he feels competent, and so when it does go there, I expect Flick to go to work and capitalize on his advantages. Johnson is good. He's beat some decent competition. I think I was kind of overlooking him a little bit until I dug, but I think Flick is just better. I like Jimmy Flick straight up. I like Jimmy Flick by sub. I like throwing him in every parlay that I have. Worst case scenario, I lose a little bit of money, but at least I'll have my plans to look forward to.
That's true. But I'm right there with you, man. At this price, plus 285, I think it's another no-brainer. Whether Jimmy Flick's been out of the game for about a year and a half now. He retired in April of 2021, so he's been out for what? That's 21 months, almost 2 years. And rightfully so. Everybody's writing him off, thinking that he hasn't been training. He's hasn't been in the gym, which is not true. He's always been in the gym, but retired in the gym and being, fighting in the gym is completely different. But this is also the first time that he's not had a job while in a fight camp. He's completely committed to fighting now, quit his job and everything to come back. So I think he's at a good space right now. I feel like we're going to get the best version of him that we've seen. And Johnson, he's tough as nails. I've been a fan of his since majority of his career back in the day. I've been watching him forever. He does have an immense advantage on the feet, and we know that. But then again, everybody that Flick faces has an advantage on the feet. Every single one. There's never a fight where Flick is the better striker. Let's just put that out there. He's never better than any of his opponents, but he still wins. This man is only 8-1 as a flyweight, 5-4 as a bantamweight, and 2-0 as a featherweight. This man has been great at 125. His last loss was back in 2012 at 125. I'm not expecting it to be another loss here. This would be his fourth time winning as an underdog in his last 5 fights if he gets this win, because right now he's won as an underdog in 3 of his last 4. They're always writing this man off. People forget that he dominated Nate Smith, who was an Olympic wrestler, medalist. He won a medal in the Olympics for wrestling and absolutely dominated him in his own game. In wrestling, on the mat, and just kept him there for 15 minutes. He could definitely do the same to Charles Johnson. And also Charles Johnson, I know he's been getting in a ton of wrestling looks with Jordan Burroughs, an Olympic wrestler there. But the thing is, he's wrestling to keep the fight on the feet, where Jimmy doesn't need to wrestle you to get you to the mat. He just needs to get a hold of you at some point. So it's not the same, and he's not drilling a shit ton of jiu-jitsu either. You're not going to be able to do enough jiu-jitsu in 4 weeks to be ready to face the guy that has 14 of his 16 wins by submission. This is arguably the biggest submission threat that Johnson has ever faced in his entire career, and he has to take it on 4 weeks' notice to prepare for someone like that.
That's true.
If this hits the mat, it's gonna get fucking dicey. And people were betting Johnson all the way up to minus 500. We were able to snag Jimmy earlier in the week at what, plus 390, plus 400, and now the line is starting to creep back down because people are trying to see the same shit that we were seeing. But that's what happens when you have no fights and everybody's just looking to get that easy money right in right away in the last week. All these lines are inflated like they shouldn't be. So we got in Flick early. We got a ton of great CLV there. And yeah, I'm expecting him to cash out, get another submission win. It's gonna be a great fight though. I'm not saying it's gonna be a walk in the park for Flick, but then again, none of Flick's fights are ever walk in the park. But either way, I'm excited for this fight more than any other fight on the entire fight card.
Yeah, I think the big advantage here is Charles Johnson has a horrible haircut, so that's one thing to think about. And then, yeah, like you, I got this at plus 400, and then I got it again at plus 410. Like, it's stupid, bro. And like, it was doing like this, and it still is. It's just there's so many unanswered questions here, like ring rust, distractions, drama. Like, it's one of those, like, it's a TNT type show. They know drama. That's what this fight is, man. And I'm excited. Like, regardless if I had money on it or not, I'm excited to see what happens here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, my favorite fight in the fight card. And Forrest Sanders is asking why are the odds so wide on this fight? Well, like
Just
I
when I
was
said that,
yeah, like I was kind of pointing to earlier, people got in on it early. Last week, once the line started coming about, everybody started hammering lines because they have nothing to bet on right now. We have no fights to bet on. Everybody's just jumping the gun, getting on these lines early, thinking they're going to beat the closing line value, which a lot of people did on Johnson because I think he opened up at what, minus 145 around there. So they absolutely smashed the closing line value. So right now, all the value is on Flick, and that's why money's starting to come back in on him. So if you bet Charles Johnson at minus 145, and then you got Flick at fucking plus 400, you're sitting beautiful.
Yeah, you're good.
You know what I mean? You're winning money regardless, and that's why people do what they do. That's why they bet early. Because later on, if that line moves the way you think it's going to move, it's basically a guessing game, right? You're gambling on it. And then if it does move that way, you get to bet the other way, and you make a profit no matter what, no matter what. That's how you gamble, everybody.
It's difficult, but it can be done. And this was one of the cases where I was willing to jump on that fucking line.
Like I'm telling you, man, that's how professionals are able to live off betting all the time, is because they're beating the lines, and that's how they do it. If you're able to bet both ways and make a profit, you're a fucking king. You really are. That's how you make a living doing this shit. And it's very hard to do because you need the bankroll to do it, and you need to be a line shark and have multiple books everywhere. And once you're line sharking, line shopping, and doing all types of shit, you're a fucking pro.
Yeah, the closest thing that I can do to that with my bankroll comfortably is like do like pre bet and then bet after round one, because then depending on the fight, obviously I can get plus money, and I just watch the fight, and then I collect.
Right.
But it's not easy.
No, because you have to hit submit, and you have to hope you're getting that plus money.
Yep.
Anyways, let's keep it moving. Our next fight up is in the featherweight division between Dan Argueta and Nick Aguirre. I have no idea. Right now the line is minus 520 for Argueta, and the comeback on Nick, I'm not gonna say his last name. I butchered it. Plus 410. Who do you got?
Aguirre, whatever. So it sounds like a little bit of money is coming in on Nick, and rightfully so. The dude is a good prospect. This is a huge step up in competition for him, especially on short notice. He's solid on the ground. So as long as Argueta can keep this on the feet, I expect this to be a walk in the park for Mr. Daniel. I expect Argueta to wrestle and basically Big Brother Nick from bell to bell. He may find the finish, but I think a decision is a little more likely. The only reason that I think that on the cards is just because this is such a short notice fight, such a big step up for Nick. But he is a tough kid, and I think the decision is the likely play for Daniel Argueta.
Yeah, he's a minus 500 favorite because he's going against this kid that's 7-0 prospect, really hasn't fought anyone remotely decent. Not a single person has he fought that's remotely good. Looks like he has a good ground game, some good chokes, good submissions off his back, but I feel it's going to be very limited when Dan Argueta is on top of you, raining some heavy ground and pound. I'm expecting, some mauling in terms of wrestling from Argueta, take him down, control, ground and pound, kind of like what he was doing a little bit to Damon Jackson, but Damon Jackson was just too big for him. But yeah, I mean, Argueta should get the job done here. Come on. I mean, it's just, am I going to bet it? No. Am I going to give a shit about this fight? Also, no.
Just too wide.
Yeah, just like I'm not really going to care. I think the Bulgarian fight was definitely a lot closer and would have been a lot more fun to watch because I think Bulgarian's a pretty decent prospect who was 5-0. But yeah, fuck this fight.
Well, there's nothing on the line. Like it's just whatever.
Right, because like
there's no storyline. Like it's just a prospect that is not ready. I mean, we'll see. Maybe he'll prove me wrong, but I mean, I think this next one's a little more interesting.
Yeah, this next one's a good one. In the men's flyweight division, we have a fight between Alan Nascimento and Carlos Hernandez. Right now, line is minus 330 for Nascimento. Come back on Hernandez plus 275. What do you got?
So right off the bat, I feel like this line is a little wide, but I still do think that Nascimento is the right side. Hernandez is coming off 2 back-to-back split decisions, and Nascimento comes in fresh off a statement win over Hadley. To me, that speaks volumes. Allen knows what the judges are looking for, and he has proven that. Don't get me wrong, though. I do recognize that he also has a few split decisions on his record as well, but he has so many more finishes. Regardless of where this one goes, Nascimento should have the tools to get his hand raised. I just ultimately like his grit. I'm siding with the grit here. I like Nascimento by decision.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not impressed with Carlos Hernandez. Let's put it that way. He's tough. Yeah. He comes forward, throws some hands. He throws some decent volume as well on the feet. Good boxing. I feel like he's definitely the better, boxer between the two. Nascimento's a better kicker, utilizing a lot of those kicks via Charles Oliveira, his training partner. Very good in Muay Thai. And obviously, he's got elite jiu-jitsu skills. Let's not forget that. Elite. And Carlos Hernandez beating Victor Altamirano by split decision.
Yep.
By split decision is not a good look. Yeah. All right. Also, again, taken down 5 times in his Contender Series fight and barely winning a split decision there is not a good look either. Granted, I don't think Nascimento should be a minus 330 favorites. Yeah. Which is why I'm kind of just leaning towards not betting on this fight because I think Hernandez is definitely a little bit underestimated. I feel Nascimento's line is inflated because he beat Jake Hadley. And the thing is, I think Jake Hadley, I don't think it was more so because Nascimento was so good. I feel like Jake Hadley just had a really off night.
Yeah.
Because then you see his next fight. Oh man, that dude was fucking electrifying, especially on the feet. He didn't even look remotely the same from the Nascimento fight until his next fight. Yeah. So I think we have to take that win from Hadley with a grain of salt because that was not the best Hadley we've seen. And Hadley will be a top 15, top 10 fighter at some point, fairly soon, honestly, maybe even this year. So that's why I think the line's a little bit inflated, and that's why I'm probably going to stay away from betting on this fight. Ultimately, I do think Nascimento wins a very close decision, but ultimately, I gotta stay away from this fight altogether. Just the line is just too much for me.
Yeah, it's a little risky. I mean, I just feel like Nascimento, if there is a finish, he's the one to get it. There is more
Yeah,
paths to victory for him. It's
true.
just that line is just not okay.
Yeah, no, it's inflated for no reason.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Our next fight.
We've agreed on everything thus far, right?
I believe so. I believe
Okay.
so. All right.
Well, hopefully, I don't think that'll change on this one, but maybe soon.
Maybe soon. We'll keep it moving. All right. Our next fight up is in the men's bantamweight division between Javid Basharat and Matus Mendoza.
Yep.
Right now, the line is minus 315 for Basharat. The comeback on Mendoza plus 260. Who do you got?
Yeah, this is a huge huge step up for Mateus. I think he's a solid prospect, but Basharat is that guy. Javid, he has had 2 impressive wins since joining the big show, and he can do it wherever he wants to. With this one, I think we get more of the same. Basharat should control the fight and either find the KO win, or if he plays with his food, we might get a decision. Considering how tough Mateus is, though, I would probably assume the latter. I think we're going to see a decision. I think Basharat is going to just handle this kid from start to finish. So decision for me.
I just don't know why this is a fight.
Yeah, it's odd.
Like, this is such a massive step down in competition that I've ever seen. I mean, how do you go from Trevin Jones, okay, and then a step up to Tony Gravely, dominate them both, and then you get a Contender Series alumni debut fighter?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Especially after Gravely. Like the Gravely fight. Like, especially after that.
Well, the only thing I can think of, right? This is probably his last fight on his contract. He wants to get this fight done and over with, get his brand new contract, and then start climbing the ladder. That's the only logical explanation for him to take such a massive step down in competition. I mean, Mendoza, he's electrifying. 6 of his wins have come inside the distance, 3 knockouts, 3 submissions. He can finish you anywhere. But Javid Basharat, the dude is fucking legit.
Yeah.
He's a top 10 fighter. He can beat you on the feet. He can beat you on the mat. The dude is fucking legit. I don't understand this matchup. It is what it is. I was able to parlay Basharat and someone else a little bit later that we're going to be talking about early last week. And I'm surprised he's only minus 315. I don't know how Alan Nascimento is a bigger favorite over Carlos Hernandez than Basharat is over Mendoza. And I don't get that. And Charles Johnson is bigger favorite over Jimmy Flick than Javid Basharat over Matus Mendoza.
Yeah.
What the fuck? That makes no sense. 0 sense does that make. But it is what it is. I think minus 315 is a fucking steal, which is kind of crazy to say because that's like at 85% pretty much, almost 90% of him to win. But he should be around where Dan Argueta is.
Yeah.
Minus 500. And he will look that. I just don't. I mean, granted, Mendoza's got power. He could clip him. It's MMA. Anything could fucking happen. But if not anything could happen, Basharat should win. He's got him really beat in every facet of the game. And he's much bigger than him, too. He's 5'9" versus 5'6".
Yeah.
And he utilizes that height and reach very well, as we saw against the smaller Tony Gravely in his last fight. So I expect Basharat to roll here, honestly.
I couldn't agree more. I feel like it's gonna be weird. Like I just don't see any other option other than Big Brother.
Right. Yeah, and that's what I'm expecting too. I mean, that he looked phenomenal against someone as good as Tony Gravely.
Yeah.
There's no possible way that he can look worse against someone like Mendoza.
Well, yeah. Also, too, you said he has the advantages, height and reach. He can fight at range. He knows the big blow is coming. Just avoid that and cruise.
Right.
What else is there?
Yeah.
So,
I
all right. Up
completely agree
next.
with you. All right. Up next. Our next fight up is in the lightweight division between Mateusz Rebecki and Nick Fiore. Right now, Rebecki minus 740. The comeback on Fiore plus 540. Who do you got?
Rebecki, I have seen the light. He is something special.
Yep.
The dude is fun to watch. He's active, and the odds definitely showcase that. Fiore, he's a solid prospect, but again, Rebecki is special. Rebecki comes into this one undersized, but that isn't anything new. Look for him to wrestle, a lot of wrestling until he finds the submission. I'd expect Fiore to, he will have moments when he isn't being controlled, but ultimately, this should be Rebecki's coming out party. Look for him to showcase everything. You will know his name. Your friends will know his name. The people will know his name after this fight, if you don't already know it, which I do. Thank you, Garrett.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yes, because we cashed in on Rebecki in his last fight on the Contender Series.
Yep.
Because I knew that man was gonna roll, and he's gonna roll again.
He has a chin too. He has a chin.
Does. That dude's got a fucking chin. He does. He's like a little fucking bowling ball because he's short, stocky, great fucking wrestler, great jiu-jitsu, great, insane ground and pound, super tough, super durable. Yeah. He's got power on the feet too. Yep. He throws some heavy hooks and knocks people out. And Nick Fiore, you can't take anything away from him. He's a good prospect. Fights out of the New England cartel.
Mm-hmm.
The only drawback is he's fought really bad competition for the most part. He fought Jay Ellis not once, but twice. We're talking about a guy that has 90 losses or 120 losses in his career, and he beat him twice in his first 3 fights and finished him both times. I don't know how that fight was even sanctioned the second time, but it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, obviously he's taking this fight on short notice. He took it just so he can get into the UFC. That's what a lot of people have to do. Sometimes they have to give up their O just so they can make it into the UFC. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Probably will get a little bit better matchup in his next fight, but Rebecki's going to go in there and do what he does. He's going to come forward, throw some heavy hooks. He's going to get hit a little bit. He's going to get in between his legs and take his ass down and just pulverize him from there. I'm expecting a round 1 finish, which is around minus 125.
Of course it is, yeah.
Yeah, him to win inside the distance is minus 285.
I love it, man. This is my guy. This is like my new guy. I love this guy.
Yeah, he's definitely. And then I'm so upset because we're going to get I would say we would have gotten him against Omar Morales around minus 325. I would think it would have cut it at least into half.
Yeah. Because
Omar Morales, he's more well established. He's fought the better competition. He's been in the UFC for 7-8 fights. But ultimately, he was going to get fucking steamrolled too because he was 38 years old. He was on his last legs. He just got beat to shit by Jonathan Pierce and company. So I was thinking we were going to get a great line on Rebecki until the fucking Morales had to pull out. I'm so upset. But anyways, Rebecki gets the job done here. I'm expecting a first round finish, and he's going to look damn good doing so.
Yep.
All right, let's keep it moving. Our next fight up is in the middleweight division between Abdul Razak Al Hassan and Claudio Ribeiro. Right now, Al Hassan, where the fuck is his line? Is minus 105 in the comeback on Ribeiro, minus 115. The line has flipped. Who do you got?
Yeah, that's interesting to hear. While Al Hassan, he does have some knockout power, it's hard to bet him against anyone with a pulse and a decent IQ. This is a pretty big step up for Claudio, but I think he is capable enough to avoid the big one while attempting to deliver his own knockout blow. Either way, the fight, the longer the fight goes, the more of an advantage that Claudio Ribeiro has. I expect Al Hassan to get frustrated and ultimately gas himself out. At this point, Ribeiro should take advantage. I'm expecting late KO, maybe late into round 2, round 3, Claudio Ribeiro KO win.
I think if the fight goes longer, it will go in the favor of Al Hassan.
Interesting.
He's got more fight time.
Yeah.
Than Ribeiro. Ribeiro, all but 2 of his wins, or no, all but like what? 2, 1, 2, 3. All but 3 of his fights have gone over one. Have all gone under 2 rounds. So they all but 3 of his fights have finished in the first round.
Yeah.
So Al Hassan has actually been going the distance.
But he's like dead, bro. Once you get to round 3, he's like,
yeah, but
he's like OSP.
But you're also talking about a guy that throws a ton of spinning shit early on and is looking to fucking knock your head off.
That's true.
How the hell is he gonna do against a guy that's literally just throwing heavy hooks? You know what I mean? They're just throwing, like, Al Hassan doesn't throw anything flashy. He's just straight to the point. He's just coming forward and throwing heavy hooks. Whereas this dude is throwing fucking spinning back fists, spinning leg kicks, all this spinning shit. By the time he gets to round 3, and if Al Hassan goes and tries to grapple with him too, Ribeiro is definitely going to gas himself out after round 1. And a little bit in me kind of just wants to bet the over 1.5 rounds, because that over 1.5 round has gone over in 1, 2, 3 of his last 5 fights for Al Hassan.
What's the odds on over?
Plus almost 200.
Yeah, I think that's a fair play, because I don't see this one ending. I don't see this one ending in round 1.
It's plus 180 right now.
Yeah, that's not a bad play.
I mean, and we're talking. Okay, I don't think Ribeiro is. He can't be some Francis Ngannou power motherfucker, because I mean the only people to finish, the only person to finish Al Hassan in the first round in the last 3 years was Chaos Williams.
Yeah, and he's a beast.
He went against Munir Lazez. He went against Joaquin Buckley as well. Chirico didn't really, do much, and Jacob Malkoun, but I mean, we're talking the only person, the only person is Chaos Williams. He's the only one that finished Al Hassan in his entire career. And the under 1.5 rounds is minus 240.
Yeah, I feel like this one is going to drag into the later rounds. I feel like it's going to be late round 2 or round 3. And one of them is going to find the KO. I just feel like Claudio is like, it's like his time. Like, it kind of like the passing of the torches, perhaps, of this type of fighter.
I can't fathom that. Because, I mean, I just can't see it. I know he's faster. Yes, I agree there. He's faster. He's a little bit bigger as well, because, Al Hassan used to be, 170er, but he's still what? How big is Al Hassan? He's 5'10", so he's, Ribeiro's got some size on him, right?
Yeah.
He's got some speed too. But I mean, come on, man. Who the fuck is Ribeiro beating?
Yeah, that's the one thing that I was kind of like I didn't really have an argument for, is he hasn't really beat anybody.
So now we're gonna have to go in and bet on a UFC debut Contender Series guy that's had 2 losses on the regional scene against nobody. Okay, so he's not like an undefeated prospect coming into here that's just wrecking shit.
Yeah.
No, he has 2 losses against nobody.
Hey, so did McGregor.
I mean,
I'm just kidding. I think, I mean, I hear what you're saying. Al Hassan.
I'm not gonna bet on Al Hassan. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just being frank. I'm not, but I can't fathom going and laying money on a guy that's only seen round 2 3 times in his entire career.
Good argument. And like you said, he also hasn't really faced anybody.
Face
Al
no.
Hassan has fought multiple decent
He
names.
went to a split decision with Buckley his last time out. Knocked out Alessio Di Chirico in 17 seconds. Went to decision with Munir Lazez after almost killing him in the first minute. I mean,
Yeah, I remember that
the
fight.
dudes fought legit competition. So I think a lot of people are just kind of writing him off because of some L's.
This guy. I still am not going to take him. I still think Claudio is going to find the finish late.
I do. I am gonna play that over though.
Yeah, I think that's a good play. And we have our first disagreement, which is put that on the map. But at the same time, Forrest is asking if he should take him off his parlay, which I think the answer that you're going to lean, because he's not asking me, but I wouldn't put him in my parlay because this is a close fight.
Yeah. If I'm parlaying anybody, if I'm doing parlays and I want a big payout, right, I'm gonna do a prop parlay, and I'm gonna throw some props together. If I want a safe parlay, Ribeiro's not in a safe parlay. Just put it that way.
Well, what I was gonna say was that if you got him at plus money, then leave it as is, and then just wait till Al Hassan is plus money. This is exactly what we were talking about earlier. So if you already bet Claudio and you got him at plus money, then bet the other guy at plus money too, the same amount of money, and then you're guaranteed some profit, right?
Well, if they're not both plus 100, because then
I meant like plus 110 plus.
Yeah, you get a small profit there. Yes.
Because this is a close fight. Like
it is, and that's why I'm ultimately not betting on it. But I do want to take stab in that over at plus 180. I think that's a lot of good value there.
I think that'll keep going up too. I think that'll get come fight time probably plus 200.
I would hope. I would like. All right, let's move it on. All right, next fight up is in the men's bantamweight division between Umar Nurmagomedov and Harney Barcelos. Right now, Nurmagomedov is a massive minus 975 to minus 1,000 favorites. And the comeback on Barcelos plus 675.
Yeah, I'm glad I got in on this one when I did. He's on all of my parlays. I'm not paying minus 1,000. Barcelos is a decent enough fighter, so it's difficult to even this is a wide line, but he tends to shit the bed more often than not. We all know Umar will win this one, so it really all comes down to how he does it. Despite most of Barcelos' losses coming by decision, I think he gets subbed in this one. He looked good against our boy Manis, but I'd argue that he'll make this one look a little easier. So I like him by sub.
Yeah, I agree with that. Obviously, like I said, we got in early. We parlayed him with our boy Javid Basharat. That's the parlay I was talking to you guys about earlier. And I'm expecting him to roll here. Like I said, I've been saying this. And I said it before Nurmagomedov came out and said it. I said in 2024, Nurmagomedov will be the next bantamweight champion. I said that, and I stick by it, and it's true. It's going to happen. This man is going to be wrecking shit, and this is where it starts. It starts with Barcelos, and it's going to keep going up from here because this is the first, I would say elite test. But he's going to flying fucking colors. Flying colors. He's going to look great here. I'm expecting a win inside the distance, which is at plus 200. So, yeah, give me that shit, and I'll bet that all day. Yeah. Okay. Keep it short and sweet.
Yeah, we're cruising.
We're cruising. Let's cruise. All right. Next fight up in the women's bantamweight division between Ketlin Vieira and Raquel Pennington. Right now, Vieira minus 120 to come back on Pennington plus 100. We got.
Hey, Garrett. Is being a lesbian still a good MMA base? Well,
we'll find out because both of them are.
I know. Honestly, while this is a super boring fight, it is an interesting matchup. Vieira has the advantages coming into this one, but Pennington seems to know what the judges like. So if this one goes to the judges' scorecards, it's really anyone's fight. I'm leaning the dog just because. Well, I was leaning the dog just because if anyone has a chance inside the distance, it'd be Vieira. She just has more paths to victory. I like her by decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if she somehow manages to find a finish. Probably KO.
Well, I mean, Pennington has some type of resurgence as of late.
Yeah,
4-0. She's got decent wins over Aspen Ladd, Missy Chazon, Penny Kianza, Marion Renault, but in comes Ketan Vieira, who's a big girl. She's a big girl. All right, she's a judoka black belt. It's got some power in her hands. Hard to take down, hard to keep down. I believe she's also a jiu-jitsu black belt as well. As we saw her backpack Kunitsukaya and somehow lost that fight. Might I add, which is okay because I bet on Kunitsukaya. It's okay. But yeah, I mean, this is basically a title eliminator fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because these are the only two that have the capabilities of making a decent fight against Amanda Nunes. And also, these two haven't fought her. At least Raquel hasn't fought her in a long time, and Vieira has not fought her yet. So this is probably your number one contender fight. I'm pretty damn sure the UFC is hoping and praying Vieira wins this fight because no one in their right fucking mind wants to see Nunes versus Pennington 2.
Yeah.
No one wants to see that fight. So they're hoping Vieira goes in there, gets the job done, and is some fresh blood for Nunes and for that title fight. But ultimately, I got Vieira winning this fight. I think she does what she does. She's able to keep the fight at distance, land the heavier shots, get her up against the cage, utilize that clinch and her judoka skills, take her to the mat, and just do more and just big sister her a little bit. I want to say big brother, big sister her a little bit. All right.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I don't know what they're into.
All right. Our next fight up. We have a fight in the middleweight division between Napuna Soriano and Roman Kopylov. Right now, the line is minus 155 for Soriano. Come back on Kopylov plus 135. What do you got?
Kopylov, or as I like to call him, the Russian Sam Alvey, continues to skate by a release of the UFC, but not after this Saturday. Soriano beats the guys he should, and this is one of those guys. This should be the last time we see the slow and timid Roman Kopylov. I expect Kopylov to fight a range for a bit, but as soon as Serrano finds his way in, he should be able to find the chin and knock out the Russian fraud. This line is a gift. Get in before the public gets wise. Soriano by KO. Cash it, baby.
I'm trying to figure out why the line is the way it is. He opened at minus 170 and he's down to minus 155.
And he was minus 150.
But why? Because on paper, Soriano hasn't beaten every facet of the game. So why the fuck is he only minus 155?
It's a trap.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. This is a line that doesn't make sense. I can't bet on a line that doesn't make sense. I'd rather pass knowing that I just don't know why the line is set the way it is than to bet on him and he fucking loses.
Yeah.
Because the line is telling you he's going to lose.
It's odd. I will give you that, but I'm going to feel really stupid.
Right. Yeah. But then what? And then the what ifs, right?
Yeah.
Then you bet him and he loses. You're like, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he beat Alex DeChico or whatever.
I mean, Alessio De Chirico?
Yeah. Yeah. And then he retired right after that. But I
Right.
mean, but even on that, like it was difficult to pick between those two.
Right. And then that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't think Kopylov is good.
Yeah,
Like
he's
at
not.
all. At all. I mean, if you get choked out by Carl Robertson, you suck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Carl Robertson doesn't care about anything. Like
right.
it's weird. So why would he
So
want to choke you out?
right. So I don't I that's why I'm like, why is he only plus 135? Like why is Soriano minus 155? I would cap him minus at least minus 225 or it's a minus 250. That's where he should be. And then here we are minus 155. Why? And then everybody that I see on Twitter is betting him too. So that makes it even more dumbfounded as to why the fuck he's only minus 155.
Well, if I remember correctly, going in around 2, he looked kind of bloody, or he was getting beat. But I mean, that could also be my selective memory. And because I was gonna bet Alexei or whatever, however the hell you say his name, I was gonna bet him live going in around 2, and then it wouldn't let me. So I was like, thank God I didn't, because he looked bloody. He was getting beat.
I don't know, man. But ultimately, if I'm siding, it's definitely on Soriano because I don't think Kopylov is good. I think he should be cut. I don't think he should be in the UFC. But then that line is like, I kind of want to stay away from it, and I'm rather just kind of wait it out and see how the fight unfolds. Maybe make a live play on it, but
then he'll knock him out right after you bet the live play.
Yeah, I know. It's just like one of the things where I'm like, I don't know, man. I might just stay away completely because the line just doesn't make sense to me. I don't like betting. I'd rather pass and not make money than to bet and lose my money because it's like I said it and I'm talking about it, but I do the exact opposite.
Yeah, I mean that does happen.
It happens a lot.
It's definitely an interesting matchup, but like you, I don't think he belongs in the UFC, but somehow Russian
Exactly.
continues to stay.
He doesn't belong in the UFC, and he's plus 135 against the guy that's what 5-2 in the UFC.
Yeah, I think people were comparing him to like the Chase Hooper last time because he looks a little bit like Russian Chase Hooper.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. But like that's what I'm trying to say. Kopylov is 1-2, right? And he's plus 135 against a guy that's 5-2.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I'm with you. I think it's a gift. I just don't.
Right.
I don't know what anyone's seeing.
You also have to think about the sports books never gift you anything.
Yeah,
remember that. They're always there to make money at the end of the day. They're not just gonna give you just like Charles Oliveira was a gift at plus 150 on a champion that's been beating everybody, right? It was a gift, right? As people were saying, oh, this is a gift.
I guess.
Well, the sports book doesn't gift us anything, so we'll see.
So if Soriano does win, how do you think he does it? Because I don't know if you said that.
I think he knocks him out.
Okay, all right.
I think he knocks him out.
We're on the same page.
He's got a big ass head, and his head's getting knocked clean off.
Soriano does keep his chin open sometimes after those looping punches. So I mean, it's not.
It's gonna get dicey because that's exactly what's gonna happen. You know, and he is the shorter guy too.
Yep. Head kick,
or just a straight punch, which is what happened with Chirico.
Yeah.
Straight punch down the pipe, knock him out. I mean, it can happen. That's why I'm just like.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird one because I don't think this kid belongs in the UFC. But Soriano does shit the bed. It's like it's one of those weird matchups where I could see it going either way, but I want to bet it. I want to put all my money on it. I want to lose money. I want to make money, and I want to talk about the next fight because this one's boring. This one's boring me.
I know. We're up to our co-main event. We have a fight in the featherweight division between Dan Ige and Damon Jackson. Right now, Ige minus 125 to come back on Jackson plus 105. Who do you got?
Yeah, so this I'm arguably just as excited for this fight as I am the Flick fight. I mean, if I didn't have, as much money I do on Flick, then this would probably be my go-to fight. And as much as I think Ige is the side here, it's difficult to not take a stab at Jackson. Ige has been through some battles lately, and I can't help but think that damage, could be stacking up. Jackson has also had some battles, but he is one of those guys who weathers the storm, and he makes it look easy sometimes. I expect that to happen here. Ige should have moments early on, but as soon as he begins to slow down, which it's a very slight slowdown, but he does slow down a little bit. Look for Jackson to take advantage of the slower pace and attack. It should be close. It will be close, but I think Jackson finds the finish late or makes a statement and edges it on the scorecards. I love both of these fighters. It's a very close call, and I just ultimately it's a dog or pass for me. Damon Jackson.
Damon Jackson. Yeah, man, this is a tough one. I'm in back and forth on this one. I'm probably not gonna make a play on it because it's so severely close. Danny Ige, we know what you get from him, man. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt. He's got good wrestling. He's a great stand-up striker. Good, extremely durable. Good chin on him. Throws some heavy hands. Damon Jackson, on the other hand, tall, lanky, good kicks, good front kick. Great jiu-jitsu. Good wrestler in his own right. It's a very fucking close fight. These two guys fight very similar. Their strengths are each other's strengths as well. And it's really hard to gather who to really bet on here. I mean, Danny Ige is on a little bit of a slump, but he's only losing to elite talent.
Yeah.
He's only lost to elite talent. So then if Danny Ige loses to Damon Jackson, right? So Damon Jackson is elite talent then.
Yeah.
He's a guy that could be on his way to a possible contender fight soon. Because he's won 4 in a row right now. He's coming off a nasty win against Pat Sabatini in the first round.
Sabatini.
What a fucking win that was.
Yeah.
Very impressive there. And it's hard to really go against the trend. It's hard to go against the hot streak, especially when it's plus money.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I'm probably going to side with Danny Ige just because he's been there, done that against the elite. This would be the elite fight for Damon Jackson. We will see if he passes the test. Ultimately, I got Dan Ige winning if I'm going with the side here, but I'm probably not going to make a play on the fight as a whole.
Yeah, should be a fun one on the whole.
On the whole. Anyways, we're finally up to our main event in a catchweight bout at 205 pounds between Nassourdine Imavov and Sean Strickland. Right now, Imavov minus 130 to come back on Strickland plus 110.
I'll make this quick. As much as I want to bet on Strickland, I think that this just might be a bit too soon to get back in there. I mean, he didn't really get hurt, but 5 rounds with anyone is going to have some sort of effect on your body. Strickland is going to attempt to do what he does, fight at range. And while that does sometimes work, Imavov should find his way in. I know he will. And he'll make it look easy. Ultimately, I think he'll find the finish. I believe Imavov will KO Sean Strickland on the ground, and I'm honestly not sure why Strickland opened as the favorite. Luckily, we got Imavov at plus money. Thank God. I even parlayed him. So, it's a fight.
It's a fight. It's a fight. But yeah, bro. I mean, fuck. I'm excited for this. I think I'm a little bit more excited for this fight than the Gastelum fight, just because we're getting a better line on Imavov. Because I like Imavov against Gastelum, but he was minus 200. So now we're getting him at minus 130 against Sean Strickland, legitimately coming off the fucking couch.
Yeah.
All right. Not saying that he's not the normal guy that comes off the couch. He can literally fight anybody at any place, any given time off the couch. But this man said he's not been training for a month, which I feel that's a little far fetched. I know he's been in the gym a little bit, but I know he's been taking time off. He was planning a trip to go snowboarding. He was getting ready for that, and then Mick Maynard calls him up and throws a bunch of money on him. He can't say no.
Yeah.
And so here we are at 205 pounds. We forget that Strickland used to fight at 170 pounds. So he's not like a extremely big dude for 205 pounds. Meanwhile, Nassourdine Imavov is a big motherfucker. And he will fill in that 205 pounds. He's going to look like a light heavyweight. He's 6'3". He's not short. He's a big dude. He's basically the middleweight version of Cyril Gane. They fight eerily similar, obviously, because they're training partners. They have a great flow on the feet, utilizing their range, their kicks, their in and out movements. They look phenomenal. It's like a work of art watching them strike at distance, especially with their kicks. And I'm expecting Imavov to eat Strickland up with kicks, leg kicks, body kicks, head kicks. Utilize the range, the motion, the jab. I know Strickland's all about the jab, but he can't get in range when he can't fucking hit you. He's not going against Jared Cannonier, who's a stationary fucking target that's coming forward, where Imavov is going to want to stay on the outside, utilize his range. He has that wide base, and use those kicks, stay at range, his jab. It's going to be hard for him to come in range. And I know everybody's talking about the cardio of Imavov. It didn't look great against Buckley, but that was a 3-round fight, right? And now this is a 25-minute, 5-round fight. We know that he's not going to go balls out in the first rounds. I feel like he's going to pace himself. He's getting ready for his first main event. Now he doesn't have to deplete his body to 185 pounds. He's able to stay at a normal weight. And I feel like that's definitely going to help him more than it will, Sean Strickland. Because Sean Strickland is all about, volume and coming forward and just outpacing his opponent. I don't expect him to be able to do that here. He's not going to be able to utilize his jab all that well because he's not going to be able to touch Imavov. He's not going to outstrike a elite kickboxer. It's just not going to happen. He's going to outstrike guys that are stationary targets that are just going to stand there right in front of him. Jack Hermanson, Jared Cannonier. Look what happened when he faced an elite kickboxer, Alex Pereira. Knocked the fuck out.
Yeah.
Okay? There's not an elite striker that he would beat. He would lose to Izzy soundly on the feet. He would lose to Whitaker soundly on the feet. And those are the guys that fairly imitate the same type of striking abilities that Imavov has. I'm expecting him to be able to keep this fight at range, do what he does best, and just pick Sean Strickland apart because Sean Strickland is one of the easiest fighters to hit. Motherfucker doesn't move his goddamn head. His big ass blockhead, he does not move. And I'm expecting him to get pieced up by an elite technical striker in Imavov. So yeah, give me Imavov here. We got him early, plus 100.
Yeah,
and I'm thinking about throwing a little bit more on him as well.
Well, I know you mentioned his head, and here's one thing to think about. Sean Strickland is coming in, on his first losing streak. There's and he comes in on this one short notice, like we both mentioned. But how is he? He's doing all these live streams on Instagram. He seems depressed. It's not the typical Sean Strickland, fun-loving guy we're used to. He's gonna come into this disgruntled and wanting to win. I think he's gonna overextend more than he ever has before, and he's gonna be looking for the finish. And I think that ultimately is gonna hurt him and do everything that you said. Or Imanov's gonna do everything you said he will do, and ultimately get his hand raised by KO.
I like it, man. I like it. And that's our breakdown, guys. Just a little bit over an hour. Just
not too bad.
Like to do it. Guys, we need you to head over to Playmaker, follow them on all social platforms, and head over to PrizePicks. Sign up there. Use promo code PropsLive for 100% deposit up to $100. Make some money there. And head over to Howler Head.
I'm just showing it off.
Get some Howler Head.
Yeah,
some Dana White's Howler Head. Yeah, I don't want to speak about Dana White, but that's for another time. We thank you all for joining us on this late edition of the KO Breakdown, and we will see you all back here next week. UFC 283 on tap in Brazil. We will see you then. We're at